Welcome to the show. I am MMA insider and Herb Dean's dog sitter, Joey Venti, and you're listening to the MMA History Podcast, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the preservation of mixed martial arts history. Interviews and stories about the early days of MMA direct from the men who lived it. Hundreds of interviews, thousands of hours of research, all conducted by the most obsessed mind in the business, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Join us as we document the history of the sport we all love. Welcome to episode 300 of the MMA History Podcast. Today we're doing something we've never done before. This week's guest is one of the most controversial figures from MMA's early days. A man who helped shape the sport's voice before his own life took a dark and infamous turn. His name is Rafiel Torre. Once a prolific writer and recognizable media personality, Torre was everywhere on the early MMA scene and fans. At one point, he was one of the most recognizable men in the industry. But Torre's story took a grim turn. He's now serving time in a California prison for murder, and this, remarkably, will be his first interview in over 20 years. Landing it was not easy. It took over a year of persistence, coordination, and red tape. My colleague, the MMA detective Mike Davis, was relentless in tracking this one down. Because of prison's restrictions, we could not record audio and video at the same time, so it's a bit choppy. In fact, a lockdown during the process delayed everything by a couple of weeks. Even three-way calls could have jeopardized Torre's phone privileges, so Mike conducted this one solo. Before they began, Torre and Mike agreed nothing was off limits, except anything that could interfere with his ongoing legal situation. Now, to be clear, this conversation is not an endorsement or an attempt to excuse his crimes. Our mission here has always been the same: to preserve MMA history told directly by the people who lived it, whether they are heroes, villains, or something in between. So with that said, let's step back into MMA's wild, unfiltered past and hear from a man whose story has been locked away for 2 decades.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Oh, I got lucky. I gave a guy 4 sodas for his phone call.
Oh, man. I appreciate it.
No, that's cool. That's because it's the only one I'm going to get. It's the only one I'm going to get. There's just way too many people.
Oh? Hey, Rafiel? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, I got it. Okay. So, Rafiel, let's kind of begin this conversation with an understanding that have any money exchanged between you and I in regards to recording this conversation?
No, not at all. I just figured people would ask me for interviews for years, and I've talked to a couple people over the years. I just figured this would be the last time I do anything.
Okay.
I wanted to put it out there. I figured the guys knew.
I appreciate it. And this is, you and I have been communicating, well, I should say through third-party people for, a little over a year right now, and I sincerely appreciate you allowing us to come together. On top of that, like outside of any questions like affecting your living situation or your court case, is there anything that's off, like out of bounds?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay. I think the biggest obstacle that I'm going to face, and I'm just going to be upfront with you in regards to this, is, you've been locked up for how long now?
Since 2003.
Okay. And oftentimes, like that prison system, it shuts people down. Like it kind of teaches you to not talk and kind of keep everything internal. And, my goal is to kind of get you to open up on, different historical events that you witnessed, you wrote about, as well as you participated in. So, like, if at any point, like, you either don't feel comfortable, if there's more you'd like to open up on, like, I would appreciate it is if you just said, hey, man, let's kind of go back, because I think a lot of the things that we touch base on, it's going to be stuff that you probably haven't thought or talked about in, quite a long time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Your love of mixed martial arts, your involvement, where does it all begin?
Okay. When I saw the first UFC, I was just like, holy crap, this is amazing. Saw it on TV with a bunch of I had a karate school, Tuesday, Oregon. And I just saw it with a bunch of my guys. They've been advertising in Black Belt magazine about this show that was coming out. It was in karate versus judo versus jiu-jitsu versus wrestling. Of course, we all were like, okay, let's watch this. This sounds really amazing. There's no rule, basically, exception fish hooking, eye gouging, There's no time limits, no weight classes. Thought this is what's going to prove what's up. So that was fascinating.
Okay, now your involvement as a journalist, you were one of that first wave of actual journalists that covered the sport. Where does it begin?
Doing the writing was I competed in Abu Dhabi in '98, and I met Keith Pelegro, and he's just I hit it off with him. He's probably one of the coolest guys ever.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He just got along really, really well with us. We were talking, and I was joking around, like I was pretending like I was interviewing. We were just kidding around and stuff. And he goes, you might be pretty good at this. And he talked to Guy Nevins, Sheikh Tanoon's right-hand guy, and they offered me a job working for him.
So Keith Evans is still there. He's actually still Sheikh Tanoon's right-hand man. So you're talking about March 20th, 1998. It's the first ever ADCC. How do you get the invite?
Well, they were talking about it on all the mixed martial arts forums and the jiu-jitsu forums and online. And everybody put an application in, and everybody was just saying, "Oh, this is me." Put an application in, and one night I was sitting in my house with my ex-wife, with my wife at the time, and about like 9 o'clock at night or something, I get a phone call from Guy Nevins. He said, "Hey, we'd like to offer you a spot on the show." And I'm like, "Awesome." It was pretty cool. And I thought, that'd be great. I'd love to go. I went.
All right. So you fly out, and this is at like the horse stable, I believe, the first one.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah. I hate what people say, because it sounds like it's like we were in like a barn. This thing was like a palace, It was, the royal family, Sheikh Tanoon's family, this thing is, you'd never know it was for the equestrian place. They had this like a giant, like single lane pool that would cool the horses off. They would walk them and they start at their legs, and they'd go up to their chests in this pool. As much as the fighters, when we were training a couple days before the event, we were going out there getting in this thing and swimming back and forth. And they had all these Arabian horses and camels outside in their pens. We walked around. They were treated better than most people. It was amazing. That place was it literally was like you never would get to it. It was for horses stuff. It was really well put together.
Okay, cool. All right. So Beau Hershberger is your opponent. Did you know you were going up against Beau prior to getting there, or was there a lottery once you landed?
Yeah, it was a lottery once we got there. When I found out, and everything was right before, I think it was the day before.
Okay. And Beau Hershberger, you wore gi in that match.
Yeah. It just showed how out of depth I was. I just had no clue. It's like I thought that, because I've been doing Jikado for years, and thought, well, man, I'll use my ki to help. I don't care what they say and everything. I thought that it would be, in judo, that's great, and everything Jikado, that's great. Even in jiu-jitsu matches, that's great. But it's like against somebody like Beau Hershberger's catalog, it's like might as well decide your own death warrant. That kind of beast. He went out there and took me out in 58 seconds.
Hershberger took bronze that year. He was later to become a Hicks, one of few Hickson black belts.
Yeah. Had to do the monster.
Yeah, I think he was probably top 5 American competitors at the time, and closer towards top 3.
Yeah. But you never guessed it outside the ring. He was really nice to everybody. Everybody seemed to like him a lot. He was a pretty nice guy.
So that's where your sports journalism comes in. Just by happenstance, you met Kid Peligro.
Yeah. That's where I met him. Was out there, and we were joking around, and I pretended like I was interviewing guys. We were just screwing around. And he goes, when he said, "I think you'd be good at this. I think you could do this." And I thought, well, yeah, that's what you do, man. I mean, you're good at that. And he goes, "No, I think you would be good at this." And he said, "You should think about it, and pay as well." And I thought, well, okay, well, I'll think about it. And then I got a call from Guy again, and he was saying, we'd like you to do this. And okay, and I did it. And it was just, I had a blast. I loved doing it. It was just so much fun. And I've thought about different ways to come up with. I mean, I was lucky enough that I know a bunch of fighters, so it's like I was able to call them. I could get a hold of anybody. Anybody would just do an interview with me. And that was one of the things everybody said, man, you can talk to anybody. All the fighters will talk to you. I'm like, well, yeah, it's I know them all. And then I thought I want to come up with a hook and everything. I came up with that column, Lessons in Humility, and man, I love doing that one. That was so much fun because I got to get on the mat with the best guys in the world and go out there and see what it was like to actually get on the mat with them. It's definitely an experience. I did stand up fighting with Gilbert Ivel and Foss Rutan and then on the mat with Mark Kerr and Rico Rodriguez and Royler Gracie, and it was fun. It was way cool, and it definitely was a lesson in humility every time.
Okay, so like your role with it was ADcombat was the website that you were writing for. Like your role with
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah.
Was it defined like from the get-go, or was it okay, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? You would submit a couple of ideas and they would be approved, or did you just have an open budget to kind of do what you wanted?
Honestly, they kind of gave me free reign, and I think
Holy shit.
I did some journalism in high school and college, and and they just kind of gave me free reign with it. And I just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what would stick, and that was one that stuck, and it seemed to be one a popular column. I was lucky,
So your column, Lessons in Humility, was incredibly popular and some would argue very powerful at the time that it was at the time you were printing, because you would do like not only your experiences on the mat with these guys, but you would also do press releases for gym openings, and you commanded quite an audience.
Yeah, I wanted to. I mean, I loved the sport and everything. It's just I wanted it to be super popular, and I saw. I think it would. I knew it was going to be more popular. I think the Gracies were brilliant. I mean, what they started was just fantastically brilliant on their part. And then, their cousins coming over, the Machados, and these guys it was a whole new era of martial arts in America and then worldwide. And it's just, I wanted it to be popular. I wanted to do whatever I could. If some guys open a gym, I'm not going to go say something about it. It's like, plus, again, I could go to their gyms, meet these guys, and also this sets up things where I have context now. Okay, this guy's open a gym. We've got a bunch of students to compete. They say one of them fought King of the Cage. I can interview that guy because he knows me from when I went and did a press release for his gym. So it was just kind of basically you met everybody you could. That way, later on, you might have an input.
So some of the columns that you did with Lessons in Humility, you described rolling with Royler, Mark Kerr, Rico Rodriguez, just to name a few. Let's start with Royler.
Okay.
What was your experience like with him?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, he's a jiu-jitsu god. I mean, like, other than Hickton, he's one of the names that, the Gracie family, you're like, okay, that's one of the guys. It's just awe-inspiring. He's a legend, kind of, I guess, just kind of starstruck when I met him, and just, I was grateful he gave me the time, More than anybody, I really wanted to get with Hickton, but I never was able to. I wanted to get on the mat with him because, that dude kind of like my hero.
The rumor at the time was that Royler, prior to you getting there was a lot of nervousness within the gym, with the forethought of like it was incredibly important to leave a good impression with you. Did you notice any kind of pressure like that by some of the gym owners?
No, Royler, he is there. There's nothing to worry about for me. I mean, what could I say bad about the guy? The whole column was about being on the mat with somebody like him. Well, no, I was grateful that he gave me the time. I was grateful that he gave me the time because I know how busy, most of the Gracie family was. I'm grateful to all the guys that did those roles.
Yeah. More than one person told me that about Royler prior to you getting there, by the way. That's just not from one source of information.
That's the first I've heard of it. I never would have agreed that he'd be nervous about getting on the mat with me, so I would write something bad about him. There's no way. He has nothing to worry about.
Mark Kerr, you guys struck up quite a friendship, and it was right around the time when the Smashing Machine was being filmed. The documentary series.
Yeah, they did the movie Life and Times of an NHB champ on HBO, and I was one of his sparring partners at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu when they were filming that. He's just one of the sweetest guys outside the ring, and one of the scariest guys inside the ring. I can't remember the name of the Russian guy he fought in Pride, and we all thought he broke his neck in the ring. He got him in a can opener. We all literally thought he broke the guy's neck.
You talking about Igor Vovchanchin?
No. The Russian guy, not Igor. He beat a guy before that, before he fought Igor, and the guy put him in his guard. Some kid fought.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Mark put him in a can opener, and the guy tapped out, and they had to take him out in an ambulance. We thought he broke his neck.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So Mark Kerr, you guys actually had a really good relationship, really close.
Yeah.
I think we're coming up on that 60-second time mark. I'll wait for the next phone call to delve into that. Okay.
I'll try to call back in a little while. Let me. There's some guys behind me, but I'll try to call back again today if I can. If I can, I'll try
absolutely.
Tomorrow. Okay.
100%. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, man. See you.
Bye. What's up, brother?
The phone call.
Yeah, hello.
Yep.
Oh, you got me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I got you. All right, dude, we're good to go. Okay, so the Russian's name that I got, what you're talking about, is that at Pride 11, he fought a 2-time Sambo world champion, Igor Borisov.
Oh yeah. That was man. Yeah, the guy he threw a leg kick at Mark, and then Mark threw a leg kick back at him. It's like spun him almost around, and was surprised everybody. But Mark had been training with a really good Muay Thai coach, and then Mark took him down, and the guy threw Mark in the guard, and Mark just did a can opener on him, and it literally looked like he broke his neck. We were like, "Oh shit!" We thought he broke the guy's neck, because the guy, he screamed in pain, and you could see he was injured. He injured him, and they put him on the stretcher, put him in a neck brace, and they took him to the hospital in the ambulance. He was really serious. He spent a few days in the hospital from it.
Okay, that was the same card that Rico Rodriguez fought Giant Ochi.
Yeah, Giant Ochi. Yep.
So
that was funny. That was a great fight.
You and Rico also had a real unique relationship.
Yeah, I love Rico. He was a cool kid. I liked him a lot. He was really, really cool. He's the only guy I've ever seen in the ring while he's fighting, flirting with the girl ringside while he's in the middle of the fight. He's fighting. He's got Giant Ochi pinned to the corner, and he looks over and sees this beautiful woman that's sitting next to me in the audience, and that we brought to the show, named Paige, and he starts flirting with her. I think he was a ladies' man through and through. He really was.
So the main event that night was Sakuraba versus Renzo. This is like prime Gracie Hunter Sakuraba.
Yeah, that was man. I was like 15 feet away from when he broke his elbow. It's like, that was just amazing. But Renzo, to his credit, it's got to be probably the toughest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy I ever met. He all he does is look down his elbow, and he sees that it's out of place, and he just grabs it and pops it back in. He puts his fist up like he wants to keep going. And the referee's like, "No, this is over, man. This is done. This is done." But it's like he's a monster. He's awesome. This guy. And if he doesn't know your name, it's always so funny because he always goes, "Hey, champ, how you doing, champ?" That's what he always says. If he doesn't remember your name, because so many people want to
my friend. It was my friend.
My friend is champ. He always champ for my friend.
Yeah. What was it like backstage at that? That was a pretty. Sakuraba was.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
What's that?
At the time, Sakuraba was doing something that no one even imagined, and that was calling the Gracies out by name. What was the backstage atmosphere like? I know you were covering it, right?
Honestly, well, Sakuraba was a pro wrestler. You know, he was a pro wrestler, but he was a great. Well, see, but the Japanese pro wrestling is a lot different than the American pro wrestling. They, a lot of their fighting, their wrestling style is towards submission, and it's real submission stuff. You know that, but their pro wrestling is like real fighting, but it's a scripted fight, you know. And it's like, I mean, they're doing real moves, but they're just some of the stuff is real moves. And well, I mean, look, I mean, you're never going to see hardly anybody do a double chop, you know, in the real fight from the guard. But Sakuraba did it effectively against people. You know, he was doing it all the time against the Gracie, and it worked. You know, backstage, I mean, I know the Gracies were a little upset and everything because the Japanese needed a hero against the Gracies because the Gracies were so. I mean, since Kimura, you know, I mean, they had a hero that could really hang with the Gracies because there's Gracies were, come on, but they're legends, they're monsters. They basically took their art basically, and you know, Count Coleman took them and showed it to the Brazilians, and the Brazilians took it and just made it their own. You know, the same thing the Japanese do with all of our stuff. They love American steak, so they went over there and made Wagyu beef and you know, made the best steaks in the world. Whiskey, now they make the best whiskey in the world over there. You know, so, you know, they take it and make it their own. That's what the Gracies did with judo and jiu-jitsu. They made it their own.
So what was it like rolling with Rico and Kerr at the time when Mark was having all these issues?
Well, see, that was the thing. I didn't know that Mark was having these issues at the time, but because Mark, when I met him in '98 at Abu Dhabi, man, he's just this monster of a guy. He's huge, and but super soft spoken. I mean, you listen to his voice, you know, he's a super soft spoken guy, and just sweeter than hell outside the ring. He was so kind when he met my ex-wife. I mean, he was so super gentleman to her. Just was really nice guy, you know. But on the mat with him, you're like, oh my God, you don't feel helpless like when you're on a mat with somebody like that. The kind of power that guy has, it's just and not just power, but skill at wrestling. His wrestling is so phenomenal. It's amazing, you know. And Rico, I met Rico. He was this fat kid, you know. You know, I mean, not disrespectful, but it's like he was a chubby kid, and when he won Abu Dhabi, he was like 300 and some pounds. Well, he was a great wrestler, but he was fat. A couple years later, maybe a year and a half later, I'm at one of the King of the Cages, and I hear, "Hey, Rafael," and I turn around and I'm like looking around, like, "Yeah, who's talking to me?" He goes, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" Comes up, says hi to me, and he smiled. I'm like, "Hi." And you can see in my face that I think I know who you are, but I'm not sure. Dude, this me, Rico. He'd been working out with Mark Kerr and been doing, you know, all kinds of supplements and he looked like a male model now. Yeah. He looked like a literal male model. He did. I mean, he's one of those guys that's like a full on ladies guy, you know. Now he looked his attitude. He looked like the guy that could get any girl in the room. Yes, he could. That was him. He was the guy that could get any girl in the room. Any girl in the room he wanted, he could get him. You know, he just was charming, good looking, and a beast on the mat. You know, just a fantastic guy on the mat.
In February 5th, 2000, at King of the Cage, Rico Rodriguez fought Travis Fulton.
Yeah.
But some of the dealings that night had Ken Shamrock and Mark Hall having an incident outside the ring. Did you recall that?
Yeah, I saw it. You know, Mark. Yeah, look, man, Mark tried to play this thing where, you know, he wanted to talk shit to Ken and you know and disparaging him and stuff and talking crap to him, then trying to get a rise out of him, and Ken just got him, just clocked him, you know, because he got up in his face and it looked like they were going to swing, and Ken was just faster and tougher and got him. Well, then of course everybody saw it, you know, and so the security there was like going to throw Mark out because he started it. Well, as they're throwing him out and everything, he's screaming out for the crowd, "This is your hero! This is your hero!" And he didn't, you know, Ken didn't start that fight. He didn't sucker punch him. He did one arm straight up and right in his face and nailed him. You know, it was his boys that pulled him. All the Lions Den guys that pulled him back. You know, it's like, "Hey, Mark or Ken, stop!"
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But yeah, Mark Hall started that fight.
Did you ever go to Mark's fights, the Cobra Fighting Federation stuff?
Yeah, I went to one of them. It was I was not a fan. It's a joke. You know, there was one I was at. They had a guy fight a girl at a couple of drunk. You know, it was stupid. Like, this is not professional. This is retarded, man. Had a girl fight a guy and it was a draw. Some drunk fat broad. You know, yeah. politically incorrect. My apologies, but some fat lady, heavy fat lady, fighting some drunk, long-haired biker dude, and it ended up being a draw. Like, come on. And there was no skill involved. They're just out there just swinging wild punches at each other. That's all it was. Fights were terrible. Yeah.
Chuck Liddell used to go to a bunch. Oh, okay.
What's that?
Okay. Chuck Liddell used to go to those.
Yeah. Yeah. Chuck's a riot, man. That guy's funny. I remember there was somebody at one of the Pride shows, and we made up Eddie Bravo, and Eddie was filming some videos. He was making funny videos. Eddie was a comedian, kind of, he brilliant jiu-jitsu guy, but also a pretty funny guy. He could have been a stand-up comedian. Well, he was making videos. He had a bunch of questions. We were asking questions to fighters, like drug of choice, marijuana or beer or alcohol, and guys were saying stuff. And what's the hottest chick on the planet? We were naming hot women at the time, and then Eddie says to Chuck Liddell, anal sex, for it or against it? And Chuck Liddell goes, no, I hate it. It just hurts too much. And then everybody goes, what? He goes, wait, oh, you mean with a girl? Like, oh yeah, no, I'm cool with that. Everybody started laughing. I'm like, I'm sorry, Chuck. Please don't hate me for saying that. But I remember when he said that, it was so funny. It's like, that dude's a clown. He's funnier than shit. He's really funny.
Yeah, he's been in some legendary street fights where the victims have come forward stating just how absurdly incredible his performance was in those things.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. Yeah, one of my favorite fights in Pride. I liked when Guy Metzger and Chuck fought. It was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome fight. I saw Chuck flash knockout, and he gets up right away. As soon as he gets knocked out, boom, jumps right back up and faces the guy and wins. That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about Joe Rogan. How do you two meet?
Through Eddie Bravo.
So you met Eddie first.
Eddie,
okay, so how do you meet Eddie?
He was Joe was training with Jean-Jacques Machado and Eddie Bravo, and I met him through him. And then I went to one of his stand-up gigs, one of his stand-up comedian gigs, and it was like, I don't care what Joe can. I know Joe doesn't like me, and it is what it is. But Joe, bar none, is by far the funniest stand-up comedian I've ever seen in my life. I never laughed so hard in my life. He ended up introducing me to Tommy Davidson that night, and Sully from Godsmack, and a few other celebrities too. And it was just we're all out back behind the place smoking weed with them, and there's just all these celebrities comes talking to Joe, and he's introducing us to them all. That's how I met Joe.
So Eddie, how do you and Eddie start a relationship?
Well, I knew Rico first, and Eddie, he was just a Jean-Jacques Machado student, and I went there and talked to him and met him through them, and then I started training with Eddie, working on my guard work, and just honestly, the most brilliant jiu-jitsu mind I think I've ever met. Just as far as he used to sit and just think of ways to submit people and how to get out of situations, and just technically come on, dude tapped Royler. At that point, Royler had never been tapped. He tapped Royler Gracie.
Called him. He tapped him. No, he called for him. Like at a time where people weren't requesting to go against Royler. Yeah. Like he saw the hole. He saw the opening. Yeah.
Yeah. He made a lot of people mad at him about that. For being home. They thought he should have just bowed out to him because he was his teacher's cousin. And it's like, look, Eddie's a competitor, man, and this is a professional event. You want to win money too. I get it. I get what Eddie did. I don't think what he did was wrong. No disrespect to the Gracies at all, but you want to win. You want to win on your own merits. And Eddie won. He won.
Eddie went to the trials. Eddie, he went the hard way. He didn't even get the invite. He had to go to the trials and get there.
Yeah. He's probably one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. He was, probably still is. I haven't talked to him in 20 years, but he probably still is.
So on Pride 12, Mark Kerr fought Igor Vovchanchin. I definitely saw you there for the video, but this was kind of like when Mark Kerr's armor started to fail him and his addiction kind of...
It has 60 seconds remaining.
I can call you right back. There's nobody behind me.
So
I can call
just
you right back.
cool. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Hello.
That's all right. Yeah.
Okay. So here, let me repeat it. December 9th, 2000. It's Pride 12. You traveled to Japan with Mark Kerr against his match with Igor Bochenshin. And this was kind of like when Mark started to appear human due to his issues with substances. What do you remember about it?
Well, look, the only thing I didn't know, I just didn't see the substance abuse part, but I saw something beforehand that made me kind of gave me pause. He did mention to one of the doctors there about he needed some injectables, an opioid injectable for pain, and the doctor says, "No, we don't do that." And I just kind of like, "Oh, that was weird," and I should have seen it right then, but I didn't understand because I wasn't in the drug game or anything. The only drug I'd done at that point was uh, just weed and I'd done ecstasy a few times, but it's like I didn't understand what he was talking about really. But it was just weird to me. But he had a tough time in that fight, I mean, he was going through a lot of problems with his marriage, I think. I don't know that for a fact, but it sure seemed like it. It's just he's having a rough relationship with going, and I just
It was documented. I mean, you saw the documentary filmmakers with him at the time, correct?
Yeah, I saw it afterwards. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit!" When I saw, it, I realized, "Oh crap!" So that's what it was. Yeah. It's it was but when I saw Mark, it crushed him. When he lost Igor, it just crushed him. He was backstage, and when you're at the top of the pinnacle of the game, and you were the baddest man on the planet, basically, and then someone takes that away from you, like he just looked like it destroyed him inside. Just broke his heart, and it broke my heart to see it. Mark Coleman too. We were backstage with him, and it's just like and you could see he wasn't getting the support from his ex-wife at the time. Man, so it's like just I felt bad for him because I loved the guy like a brother. He was always kind to me. I've always appreciated that. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, you get to see his relationship with Coleman. How would you describe that?
They seemed like they were brothers. I mean, when I knew them, I mean, they did a pro wrestling event over there together where they went and fought Japanese pro wrestlers after one of the prides, and they just seemed to get along fabulously. Like they were just the best of friends.
Yeah, I had heard at the end of that event or at the end of that fight, Kerr's wife at the time was pretty heavy-handed with him in regards to how the situation went down. You agree with that?
Suck it up type attitude. Yeah, she's like suck it up type attitude, and I was like, it's just a fight and everything. Like you don't understand. And Mark Coleman and I were both just looking at each other like, are you freaking kidding me? She shouldn't have been there. I should have said that. She shouldn't have been there at the fight. She was not supportive.
The main event that night was Sakuraba versus Ryan Gracie. Did you ever have any experiences with Ryan?
You mean besides watching Sakuraba sit on his back and spank his ass like a little kid, which shocked everybody? I never really had any experience with Ryan. I mean, he was a Gracie, so we figured that he could probably do like as well as the Gracies could, but he was outclassed. That night, he was completely outclassed by Sakuraba.
Yeah, he was the scary Gracie. Like he was the Gracie, like through your TV, like you had issues like hoping not to run into him.
Yeah, he was not like most of the Gracies. I mean, say what you will about them, they are gentlemen inside and outside the ring. They're professionals. They really, I mean, they may have come from a rough place in the world, and I'll tell you what, outside the ring, they were complete gentlemen. They're businessmen. They're professional fighters. They wore clothes that they reflected who they were. They weren't thugs. I mean, they weren't trying to be thugs. They were a professional they were martial artists. That's what I could say. That's what I should.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They weren't just fighters. They were actual martial artists.
So one of the things that you get a lot of slack on, I mean, it's an older quote, but Eddie Bravo gave a interview where he said that you claimed to participate in a Kumite and was driven to a wooded area in Oregon.
This is what's hilarious to me. That was a warehouse. It was like a warehouse fight where a bunch of karate guys and wrestlers and street fighters just fucking. And it wasn't. Somebody said it was in Roseburg. It was in outside of Corvallis, Oregon, at a warehouse that we fought in. It was nothing big. It was just a bunch of guys getting together and fighting with no pads to see who would be the best at it. That was it. It was nothing fancy or anything like that. Nothing big event, secret event, or nothing. It was not a big deal.
So you think it may have been misrepresented in regards to what it was,
What's
what Eddie was. So it was misrepresented in regards to what Eddie was talking about.
Yeah, and then I also heard that someone said that I drove what's his name, Shannon Rich to one, and I'm like, the only time I ever met Shannon Rich in person was in Japan.
I think Shannon Rich claimed to have driven you. That was on the Jackson podcast.
I didn't even know Shannon Rich. This was in the '80s. I fought in that warehouse fight in the '80s. I didn't even know Shannon Rich at that time. Talking about the fighter Shannon Rich?
Yeah, the Cannon.
Yeah,
Shannon
I
the
didn't even
Cannon.
know him at that time. Didn't even know him.
Okay. So let's talk about a couple other notable names. Gerald Strebendt.
Yeah. What about him?
How did you guys meet?
He went. His uncle was married to my ex-wife before I was. And then he went to. I used to throw a karate / submission wrestling event up in Oregon called the Oregon State Championships, and he wanted to compete as a wrestler, submission wrestler, and he went and competed. We kind of met through there, and I saw him again when I moved to California after I sold my gym in Oregon. I moved to California, and I was working on the base out there, and I saw him on the base, and I go, "Hey, Gerald," and, he's a kid away from home, so we invited him over for dinner, and next thing you know, he wanted to train with me, so we started training together.
In regards to your relationship, prior to the incident that changed your life, how would you have described like your relationship with him exactly?
Before I got arrested?
Yes.
It was good for most of the time, but then like the last probably year before I got arrested, it just went south. Basically just didn't care for him that much anymore, and
what was the reason between you guys separating? In your point, like in your opinion?
Honestly, we were changing the gym one day. Gerald's not a good stand-up fighter. He never was. Well, he might be now, but he wasn't back then. And we're doing stand-up, and we're sparring. And he starts complaining, like, "Oh, you're hitting too hard. You're hitting too hard." I go, "What do you think they're going to do in the ring, man?" I'm like, "Dude, maybe you should go find a gym where they can hold your hand, because this is just not working out." And then I told him, "Look, this is not working. This is the way I go. This is the way I teach. This is the way I fight. This is the way I train. So if you'd rather train with somebody else, I can recommend you some really good coaches, And he started training with Eddie, and he started training with Chris Brennan. He lived with Chris Brennan's gym for a while. He was doing really well with it, So he went to train there. Basically, I just got fed up with it.
I believe he was living with Brian Garrity when he was.
What's that?
With Chris, he was living with Brian Garrity at the time. I believe Duke Garrity, future Ultimate Fighter participant. Let's talk about Pride 11, October 31st, 2000. Wanderlei Silva and Gilbert Edel fought on that card.
Yeah. That was good. That was in Osaka. We took the bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka to watch that fight, cover that fight.
Who did you go with? Who were you there with?
Honestly, it's so long I don't remember. I've been to so much Pride, I don't remember who was there. I remember Gilbert. I was hanging out with Gilbert a little bit, and I like Gilbert. He's funny. We were in the lobby, and I remember Vanderlei was walking up, and he said something. No, he kind of like Gilbert was being respectful, and he kind of nodded his chin at him. Like, "Hey, how's it going?" Just you lift your head up, like, "Hey, what's up?" type thing. Vanderlei took it wrong, like he was sticking his chin out, like, "What's up?" At him. Vanderlei starts charging over there, like we thought they were going to get in a fight right there in the lobby. And I was like, whoa. We're all like, whoa, calm down, guys. You're going to get arrested. Knock it off. We're not going to be able to fight for real in the ring. Well, after the fight, when I did the post-fight interviews, I was asking Vanderlei, I said, "Vanderlei, what happened there?" And he said, "Well, look," and Vanderlei, I'll never forget this. He goes, "If I'm going to fight you, I have to hate you a little bit. I have to hate you." I go, "Did you know him before? Did he disrespect you or something?" He goes, "No." And he goes, I just have to hate you a little bit. Yeah, after the fight, I can be fine with you, but before the fight, I have to hate you. I was thinking to myself, God, he almost sounded almost crazy. I was like, really? You're a professional fighter. You don't have to hate the guy. But for Vanderlei, he had to hate him a little bit.
That fight opened up with Heath versus Tom Erickson. At this time, like, nobody wanted to fight Erickson. And
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They had a solution to that puzzle. That was an incredible fight.
Yeah,
Did you recall that? Do you remember Herring versus Erickson?
I'm Heath Herring, right?
Yeah, Texas.
Yeah, I remember Heath. When we were in Amsterdam, he was in American training over there with Coors Hammer, Boss's old coach. I remember him. He's a big, tough kid. I don't remember the fight. It's just been, I've seen so many. And I remember Heath, but I don't remember the fight.
Do you remember Tom Erickson?
I know who he is, but honestly, I don't.
Yeah, the big cat. Oh, dude, yeah, he was just one of those old dudes that people just avoided. Yeah, they avoided. On April 4th, 2001, King of the Cage, Chris Brennan fights Kevin Hogan. And Bruce Buffer mistakenly announced Chris Brennan representing Mark Huaz's school.
Yeah.
I was told you were backstage. Yeah, I was told you were backstage during that. Okay.
Yeah, I was.
How would you describe what took place?
Well, a bunch of guys were going to jump Chris Brennan until a bunch of American fighters stepped up and said, no, this is not happening. Some big name American fighters too. So, it got ugly. A bunch of Huas's guys were mad. Pedro Hill was one of them. And they were going to jump him. Just no two ways about it. The only way I can say it is just that was what's going to happen. And honestly, Chris didn't do anything wrong. It was a mistake on the announcer's part. It wasn't Chris's fault.
How heated was it? Like, how close did it get?
It looked really close. If they hadn't been a couple of fighters stepping in between them, I think it would have went down. It would have been a full-on riot.
Yeah. Go ahead. In our interview, Brennan had mentioned that, like he's like, dude, it was ugly. Like, it was about to go downhill quick. There's like a bunch of Americans, including my students, named your name, stepped up, got in between it, diffused it. And I guess Bruce Buffer announced him coming out of Huas's gym rather than his own school at the time. Yeah,
which he was not claiming that. He was not claiming that at all. I know that for a fact. He wasn't at that point. He'd already gotten away.
Were you at the Abu Dhabi on April 4th when the super fight between Mario Sperry and Mark Kerr took place?
Yeah, it was. That was, man. Mario Sperry is a fantastic fighter, but Mark Kerr dominated from beginning to end of that fight. He got a mounted guillotine on him, choked him completely out. He was out, slept him. But then he loosened up, and Mario came.
You had 60 seconds remaining.
And he continued to fight. I got a guy behind me who wants to grab the phone, so you want to do some more tomorrow?
Dude, if you can, it's like cool. If not tomorrow, I'm available, dude. I've got a few more for you. Dude, you've been excellent. Yeah, I can't explain to you, like, I sincerely appreciate this. This is really good stuff.
So yes, tomorrow then?
Yeah, either tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, if I can get it tonight, I'll try to, but it's harder at night.
Absolutely, not a problem. All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right, man.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Hey, man.
What's up, dudes? Are you guys still on lockdown?
Yeah, we're still on lockdown. They did threat assessments last night, so we might come up today.
That's good. That's good. You got a minute now?
Yeah, I'm saying I got a phone call right now.
All right, cool, dude. Well, let's go back to Ricardo Arona in ADCC.
Okay.
You were there in 2000 where you saw Mark Kerr go up against Ricardo Arona. What was your experience there?
Well, you mean with the fight, watching the fight?
Well, watching the fights, the actual events, because this is when ADCC really, it was April 4th, 2001. Oh, no, April 11th, 2001. ADCC really started, in the beginning, people really didn't know what it was going to be. And this is when it kind of established itself as a world leader in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it's the fights were just, I mean, like I said, there was with all the Arabs that were there, they were having people put on T-shirts and say, "Oh, wear my T-shirt for my company. I'll give you $5,000," and they giving dudes Rolex watches and Breitlings and stuff, saying, "Wear my shirt and I'll give you this." And it was, I mean, there was money being thrown around like crazy over there, and the fights were just, I mean, some of the matchups you would never see normally. I mean, like, what's the odds that you're going to see two great Brazilians go against each other, or something like Mark Kerr and Ricardo Arona, and it's like the fights were just amazing. I mean, the matches were just amazing, just incredible.
So you were there covering the event, but Sperry and Kerr was an incredible bout.
Yeah, it was.
It appeared at one point that Sperry was in a lot of trouble.
He was what?
In a lot of trouble with Kerr at one point.
Mark choked him out. I mean, Mark choked him completely out from a mounted guillotine. I was right there. I saw it. And I don't think Mark realized he'd done it because you could see Sperry he went out. Mark loosened his grip and he kind of came back too and just started fighting again. Because, I mean, that's the kind of heart Sperry has. I don't think he realized he went out either. And he just kept going once he woke back up. It was insane. I mean, Mark he's a powerful dude. With his wrestling and his power, he was almost unstoppable.
This was also at a time when Mark was really kind of at his peak in regards to struggling with addiction. Was there any telltale signs?
Any what?
Telltale signs in regards to him struggling with addiction?
No, I didn't see anything, and I saw a little something when he fought Igor and everything, But what I talked about was when he asked one of the doctors there for opioids, he needs opioids for pain, and he asked for injectables, and I'm like, injectables? What the fuck? I mean, what the hell is that about? And I just didn't get it. I was stupid. I didn't even know. I didn't use injectable drugs, and I'm scared of needles, so I didn't even really have a clue what was going on. Never saw anything, any signs. And plus, he looked almost unstoppable. You wouldn't know he was going through anything.
No, physically, he looked unbelievable. Yeah. How would you describe your relationship with Eddy Millis?
With who?
Shark Tank, Eddy Millis?
Oh, Eddy Millis. I thought you said Miller. I'm like, it's fine. I mean, I went and did a story on his gym once and everything. It seemed fine.
Did you get on a mat with him at all?
Honestly, I think I did once, but I don't remember actually. I'm not sure. I rolled with so many different dudes. I didn't do a lessons in humility with him. Absolutely not. But I think I got on the mat with him once. I think once at his gym. I can't remember.
Shark Tank was one of those early gyms that had lots of bodies, and they weren't afraid to take hard fights.
Yeah. Well, he had a few gyms. He had one in Rancho Cucamonga. I think there was one in Riverside. He had different places. I went into his gym, the one in Rancho Cucamonga. I went in there and met him there, hanging out with him there for a while. I think I was doing a story on his gym as well.
What about Chris Brennan?
What about him?
How was your relationship with him?
Back then, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Everything. I was always super impressed with him. He went to Brazil, trained with them down there, and came back here and basically took. In Southern California, his gym was put out some of the best fighters ever. I mean, Next Generation Jiu-Jitsu was fantastic. They had some great fighters come out of that gym, including besides Chris. He mowed through guys in King of the Cage. I mean, he had probably the best MMA knockout with a head kick I've seen up to that point. It was fantastic. He knocked out Antonio McKee. It was like he put him on a stretcher out the ring. They carried him out of there on a stretcher. It was like Antonio shot, Chris stuffed the shot, and Antonio would.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
After the shot was stuffed, he started trying to stand straight back up, and Chris caught him with a round kick, and he just like dropped, and his feet came together, and it's like a board falling over. He's just straight, just boom. It was fantastic. The whole audience freaked out. It was amazing. But like I said, that's the highlight reel of all highlight reels for that kick, for real.
So Eddie Bravo also has a time where he claims to have kind of called you out or questioned your black belt. Do you recall that conversation?
Look, I think Eddie is one of the most amazing jiu-jitsu minds in the world, but that conversation never happened. I mean, I was not a good person. I did a lot of bad things, but that conversation never happened. Eddie's a great ground fighter. I mean, he's a great ground fighter. But if Eddie called me out, we'd have fought. There's just no two ways about it. I'm not gonna back down from anybody. And I don't want to say that disrespectfully, but that conversation never happened.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with Eddie Bravo up until the time you were arrested?
It's fine. It was pretty fine. I mean, maybe when Gerald, probably a couple months before he started working with Gerald, it kind of cooled off. But it's like, but we weren't. I didn't see any problems with us. None at all. I mean, I did stories on him, about him doing things and winning, and what a great jiu-jitsu coach he was, and so he seemed to be fine with me. I mean, if you look at any of my articles on him, they're all positive.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. Did you have a relationship with Larry Landless?
Larry, no, just when he, just as referee, he's a good referee.
What about the guys from Tap Out?
Great relationship. I mean, Charles was awesome. I literally cried when he died. It's like when he got in that car wreck and died. It was sad. He actually came and visited me in county jail, talked to me before, and just always treated me really nice. He's just a really good dude. I got along with all the guys from Tap Out. I was always trying to pump them up too. I was always like, hey, these guys. I was taking pictures of them, put them on the websites, and it's just. In fact, I remember Charles one time. My son was only like.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
One of my sons was only like 11 or 12, and he was sitting there. I went to a show with him, and Charles goes, "Come here, buddy," and he put a Tap Out shirt on him, some Tap Out shorts on him, and he had him pose with all of them together. There was all the Tap Out crew and my son posing on this big rock. It was a thrill for my kid. He thought it was so cool.
That's awesome. So July 29th, 2001, Pride 15, you were actually on an airplane going to Japan to cover it when Rampage was pulled off. Do you recall that incident?
Yeah, they told us, we'll let you guys go first. We thought they were bumping us up to first class. And just as we went inside the gangway and rounded the corner, a bunch of cops, the LAPD, jumped out with guns, and they held us at gunpoint, threw us down on the ground, said, get on the ground. And they zip tied, cuffed us, and they arrested Quentin. And they were really rough about it too, because you could tell they were scared too. Like they were like nervous that they thought we might resist or something. Like, what are you, crazy? You guys got guns, We had no idea what was going on, and they were kind of rough. In fact, they were roughed up Debbie Purcell a little bit. One of them, I remember, kneeled really tough on her back, and I started yelling at him, "Hey, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? That's a woman, dude. Knock it off." And it was just, it was crazy.
All right, so they put all you guys on the ground.
Yeah.
They extract Quentin, and then do they allow you guys to board the plane after?
They let the rest of us get back on the plane. They let us go on the plane, and then we flew to Japan. By the time we landed, everybody already knew what was going on. But we figured we just better keep going. I was supposed to go work, So, but everybody else who was supposed to be, kind of Quentin's entourage, were going over there, and they just kind of were screwed. We were like, well, let's go over there and see what's going on.
What was the conversation like afterward? I mean, you guys are all on a plane, including Quentin's corners.
We were freaked out. That's the whole flight was. We were all freaked out. It's like, what's going on? We just got held at gunpoint, and Quentin got arrested. So, we had no clue at the time what was going on.
There was a rumor in regards to, like, Quentin had a pretty strong belief in regards to why and how he was pulled off the plane. Were you privy to any of those conversations?
Yeah, I heard some rumors, but I mean, I know why he was pulled off the plane. I know what happened, But it's just, and I know the most popular rumor, but is wrong. I know that.
Could you expand on that?
Well, what's the most popular rumor out there? I don't want to say.
Well, here I will tell you. Obviously, you where you're at. So Quentin on his podcast about a month ago said Chris Brennan was the person and the reason that he was arrested.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I love Quentin. I mean, I really do. I think he's a great guy, but he's mistaken. All I say is, look who Pride was run by. Look who had the most to gain if they wanted a certain fighter to fight Sakuraba.
Okay.
You know,
Did
I mean,
you?
we all knew there was a criminal element involved and everything. And Chris is a good dude. People, whether he likes me or not, he's an honorable guy. He was always honorable, and he would never do something like that. He's a fighter. He's like he had a problem with you. He put his fist up. Let's go. People were just trying to talk smack and smut him up. I think that's what I really think happened.
Yeah, Quentin also thinks Brennan poisons him.
He what?
He claimed that Chris also poisons him.
Yeah, I don't think.
I know. It's so good. It's so good. I'm sorry, dude. It's so. It's Quentin. It's Quentin. It's funny.
He's a
brilliant
funny guy. I mean, I had a blast with him in Japan, but he's a funny guy. When he finally got there, we had a great time.
So when he got to Japan, also one of the things I heard was you were pretty instrumental on the chain that he wore around his neck. Is there any truth to that?
Well, no, it was his idea to wear the chain. I mean, that was his gimmick, his shtick, and everything. But it was my idea when he went to take it off in the corner before he was to walk out there. No, keep it on. Just walk out there with it on, like you're going to go fight with it on. I thought it'd be funny, and the referee, and he wait, and I said because the Japanese love characters, and Quentin. Let's be honest, Quentin's a character. And they loved him for it. They thought, oh, this guy's crazy American, I mean, they loved him for it. But it's like they made him take it off, of course, and which we knew they would, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was
make the referee. Yeah, make the referee take it off. Yeah, tell you take it off. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's actually really good. That's smart. If you had to pick a moment of your lessons in humility, what was your favorite one that you had done?
Wow. Mark Kerr was one of my favorites. I love being on the mat with that guy. He's amazing. Geez. I like sparring with Boss Rutan. I mean, standing with Boss Rutan was pretty cool. Sparring with Gilbert Eibel, that's pretty cool too. Standing with him because he's having fun. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to hit you with a belly whopper like Muhammad Ali used to do," and I'm like, "Okay." We're sparring while he's telling me this, and he did.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Okay, I got to get off the phone because there's a guy behind me in line, but I'll try to call back later. Okay.
My man, do you think? Thanks, brother.
Hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you.
Hey, dude. Thank you. So essentially what happens is when you call, I throw my do not disturb on so nobody else can call me. And I barely graduated high school. So in essence, what takes place is sometimes I'm like, all right, when did you call him? Shit, I forgot to turn it off.
No, I don't even hear a recording. This doesn't. It's a recording on my end comes on that says, the prison recording. It says, "Will you accept the charge or not chargeable? You're being given a call, and you'll not be charged for this call."
When I put do not disturb on, no phone calls are allowed to come to me while I'm talking to you.
Oh.
So when we hang up, if I don't turn it off, you can't get a hold of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the guy that was supposed to be on the phone after me rolled off and went to somewhere else.
Good. No, I think that's good. So are you aware when you owned East West Jiu-Jitsu by the Marine Base, 29 pounds, that future UFC veteran Luigi Fioravante also trained there?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his face. I wish I could remember his face. I had so many students over the years in Oregon and down here. It's like it sounds familiar, but I just honestly can't remember.
Okay. He made it to the UFC April 6, 2006.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
How'd he do?
He didn't do bad, man. I mean, he was an American top team guy out of Coconut Creek. So he's a police officer in Orlando now. Had a pretty cool interview with him. So yeah. No, for sure. Where do you put yourself in regards to sports journalism at the dark ages of mixed martial arts?
It was this whole new thing, and I think, Kid Pelegro.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Kid Pelegro was probably the greatest journalist of the time. He really was. He was able to talk to all the top people, and I think Sherdog was real good too. I think those guys were definitely the guys that were doing all the stuff back then.
Well, if I were to counter, Sherdog covered events. Kid Peligro did a phenomenal job covering like high-end jiu-jitsu academies, but you were at like the independent grind of mixed martial arts events, as well as like you were at the gyms, which were those two weren't necessarily doing those things.
Yeah, but I think with maybe quality versus quantity, those guys had better quality. I had more quantity. I think that's what I think. I mean, especially Kid. I know Sherdog didn't really care for me because I got a job that he wanted. He was pretty upset about. I remember that with Prime.
I could see that. Yeah, I can see that. There were some notorious names from the early mixed martial arts days in California. Did you have any dealings with Joe San or Chemo?
I met them both. I met Chemo once. I met Joe San a couple of times. Didn't really speak, except for I spoke with Chemo, tried to get an interview with him at one of the Joe Moreira tournaments, and he kind of blew me off. I'm like, okay, that's good. And I said, it's Abu Dhabi Combat Club. And he goes, is this a lesson in humility thing? I'm like, no, I just want to interview you. And he goes, I'm kind of busy right now. And everything. I'm not going to want to do lesson in humility with him. Honestly, I don't. He's just a big, tough guy. Was all. He wasn't really skilled at anything.
Why didn't you do a lessons in humility with Ken Shamrock?
Oh, I wanted to, and Ken wanted to do it too. We just never could. We could never get the time to do it. He told me. Ken was cool. I actually been on the mat with him a little bit. Not really. We were just talking about something one time in Japan, but we wanted to, and he would have been great, because I like Ken, and I actually like Ken. But we just never were able to do it. Never could ever set it up.
So February 24th, 2001, King of the Cage, Wet and Wild. You fought Ioka Tianu. Let's talk about let's talk about the event in general. Like, when did you know it was going to be a complete and total hurricane?
It was slipperier than hell, and everything. The mats were all wet on the, it was like they're moist on the ground, so it was like it was misting, so just you go out there and you just slip all over the place. It sucked.
Did you kind of go into the event knowing it would be like this, or were you kind of surprised by it?
We thought it was going to be fine at first, but then we saw the undercard fights where just everybody was slipping everywhere. Everybody's like, oh crap, So we just tried to do the best we could.
Okay. How would you describe your fight with Ioka?
Just he hits hard. I had to get 2 stitches after the fight. It's like on my eyebrow, so he can hit hard. That's for damn sure. I remember when he fought the fight before mine. He fought. I think it was. I can't remember. I think Marvin. Well, I remember when he fought. A fight after me was Matisse Mansour's cousin, Taraj Mansour, and knocked him out in like 30 seconds. It was brutalized. But our fight, he's a big tough guy. He hits hard. I'll give him that. He definitely hit hard.
So your corners, you had Gerald Strebendt. You had
everybody said Gerald was there. He didn't help me coach. He didn't coach me other than for that fight. Mark Kerr did, and Voss Rutten did. Rico did those, and and Eddie Bravo too, and they helped with that fight.
Okay, because I'm looking at like your walk-in and stuff like that. It's Strebendt, Rico Rodriguez, and Mark Kerr.
Yeah, he was there. He wasn't. He didn't help me coach for the fight. He just was one of the cornermen. Was all.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was your camp leading up into this bout?
I just get together and work out with them when I could, because I just did a lot of training with a bunch of students, and then I'd go train with Mark a little bit, and I'd go train with the boss. I did some standing with boss, and Eddie. I was doing a lot with Eddie at the time. Eddie was actually helping a lot with guard work and stuff. If I knew that this guy was a lot bigger than me, and I wanted to have to work, I'm gonna have to work him around if we could. I hit him in the face, and I slipped and fell on my ass. As soon as I hit him, it was so slippery on the ground. But once we got to then he came and rushed me, got me on the ground. Got to me when I was on the ground, and I'm trying to push his head down to throw him in the triangle, and he immediately jumped back up and he wanted to stand up with me. I was like, okay. He wanted to beat me up because I was talking shit about he said before the fight. I'm like, I wasn't talking shit. He was the guy talking shit, you know?
So this is a bout that kind of comes into question by people that
I know.
I guess that can be considered your detractors in regards to your abilities.
I know. Yeah.
What's your feelings on that?
You know, no matter what I say, people are going to believe what they want to believe. You know, I mean, it's for years I've heard it too, but never until I came to prison, you know? But again, they're going to say what they want to say. I heard Joe said something after I got arrested, you know, and I'm like, really? You can let somebody beat you up like that? And, you know, for money? Okay. But, yeah, there wasn't that much money involved. We got paid $2,000 for the fights, you know, so I mean, yeah, it's just I took that shit for years, and then it used to drive me crazy. You know, it used to really drive me nuts. Now I'm like, honestly, I just don't even care anymore what people say anymore. It's like I said, this is going to be my last interview, and people already believe what they want to believe about me. And so I know what I did. I know what I did, and I know what I didn't do. And look, I don't have to hang my head in that fight. I I won that fight. If they can say what they want. I still got a scar on my eye for where he hit me. I've got. It's just, yeah. It was just. I trained really hard for that. I came out of retirement. I trained harder than I'd ever trained before for that fight. 'Cause, 300 some pound guy. I didn't want him to go out there and just maul me. You know.
How has his prison changed you?
Oh man. I used to I used to see a lot of good in people out there. And then for about 10 years, I saw only the bad. And then I realized that who who your friends are, the people who stand by you, who your really real friends are, and uh, and what if I could go back and live my life over again, I think I would have. I think I would have trained, but I never would have got involved in MMA. And I think I would have just been a magician. I think I really would have been a magician. Had a little ranch up in Oregon. That's pretty much it. But I think now it's just made me as an older man now. I'm 61 in a couple of months. I think that uh I I guess I get my when I see things on TV about kids getting hurt or something like that, it bothers me more now than it did back then. It's like I guess you get softer in your old age, and I see these little, Shriners commercials and St. Jude's commercials, and my stepson died of cancer. And it's like, and it's just, I think if I was out there, I'd want to do something. I always,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I came up with an idea a few years ago where we get all the magicians around, the top magicians in the world together, and just say, hey, man, why don't we do something called Magicians Make Cancer Disappear? And we'll do like a telethon type thing. We'll just have every magician, big name magician, do one trick on it, at their stage where they're at their casino where they work at, and have a bunch of street magician guys doing between the takes, them doing street magic stuff with some of the kids at Shriners, and some cancer places, and just, I think
That'd be cool.
I'd love to do something. Oh, yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
More than anything to do something like that.
If you had a message for your friends while you were in the industry of mixed martial arts, what would it be?
Thanks. I mean, I miss them. Even the ones that aren't my friends now, I miss the friendships I had with those guys. I really do. Yeah, uh, I just really, I had a lot of fun. And at the same time, I don't think I would live that life again. I would do a different life. You know, I was more interested in being famous and being that guy than being a good dad, being a good husband. And just I think I would have totally lived a different life. I think I'm amazed at where it's gotten. MMA's gotten now, you know. But those guys that were there at the forefront, like Kid Pelegro, man, I miss that guy. Such a good guy. He was really cool, you know. And you know, Charles Lewis, good person, you know, great guy. Mark Kerr, loved him. Boss Rutan and Oleg Gatarov, fantastic guys. You know, really, really cool. Eddie Bravo, when I knew him back then, we were road dogs. Really liked him. So yeah, thanks.
Your first live event was UFC 3. Am I correct? The first one you attended?
I believe that was the first one on that.
That was when Chemo fought Hoist?
Yeah.
Were you at the Fighter Hotel when the melee between Ziegler and the Gracie family took place?
I didn't see anything. I just heard about stuff. You know, I didn't see it, witness it firsthand.
Man, dude, you were there at the beginning. Yeah. I think the issue that I have as like a historian, which I consider myself just a hardcore historian when it comes to this, is people always concentrate on the fall, but they don't see the height of where you were at, how you got there, and what you did when you had that power. And the reoccurring thing that I get when I'm doing my research on you is, no, he was good to me.
60 seconds remaining.
And I think I think that speaks volumes of your character. Yeah, you can call. Sounds good.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, I appreciate you letting me do this. Yeah, I had a visit yesterday after we spoke.
Okay.
I want to. I'm not going to take back what I said, but I just want to clarify it now. I want to clarify. You see, he mentioned two things that he studies. This guy studies. And
wait. Let me just kind of come full circle here. So I'm assuming that your calls are monitored.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. But it's like in real time monitored, or is it something that happens?
Well, somebody told him. So, like, I'm sure there's somebody on the phone. They're listening now. So,
okay, yeah, okay.
At me later. Yeah, but it's like that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I just want to reiterate. I want to restate exactly two things. Actually, when you asked me about Eddie Bravo, about him confronting me, I want to say something about that because he was mad about that. And I want to clarify what I said. I want to say exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then also about when he was. This guy likes to pick on me because he thinks he fancies himself a tough guy. You know, he fancies a tough guy.
Okay.
What we call badge tough, not real tough.
Okay. Well, I let's not even go down that road. That's just
no. I actually want to say something now because now it's like, oh, you want to push that button with me? Okay, then I'll state it for the record and everything else to both of those things. You know, I tried to be kind before, but now I'm just going to say it outright. But I'd really like to say it. It's important to me because I'm not going to people, you know. But yeah, if you could ask me about Eddie Bravo again, and then ask if I ever have to deal with officers. Yeah,
so
that'd be great.
Yeah, okay, and not even an issue. Like if you prefer an edit, or we can just kind of bleed it right in. Either way, but there was a
no. This you don't have to edit it. Nothing. I just. But now I've thought about it. I really want to. I want to address it because before I kind of held my tongue. Now I'm not gonna.
Okay, well, here with Eddie Bravo, there's an instance where on YouTube on the Joe Rogan podcast where he talks about confronting you about your black belt. Yeah.
That conversation never ever happened. And Eddie Bravo, I mean, we before I was arrested, everything was cool with us, I thought, and everything. As far as Eddie physically confronting me, I mean, look, Eddie Bravo was a fantastic guy on the ground. But if Eddie Bravo would have confronted me, we'd have been. I mean, back then, I'd have fought him. Fucking sorry, I outweighed the guy, and I was a pretty good striker. I hate to say it, but that never happened. Never happened. I mean, he could say what he wants. I know everybody wants to talk stuff about me, but that's an outright lie. He never confronted me ever.
Were you and Eddie cool all the way up until the time of arrest, or was there a little bit of a falling out prior?
It was like probably a few months before probably a few months before, maybe 7-8 months before.
And what was the catalyst between you guys kind of going in different directions?
Honestly, because Gerald became one of his students. And Gerald and I had a falling out at that point.
Okay, which kind of led to your arrest.
Yeah, no, I think Gerald, he went to an unextraditable country for a while and came back, and next thing you know, the cops want to talk to me, and they arrested me. I talked to them for 2 years before the arrest. I never went in with a lawyer, nothing. Whenever they wanted to talk to me, I went in there and said, sure.
Okay. So let's talk about your living situation. You were saying that you had an issue with somebody there.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of the TOs here are huge Joe Rogan fans because he's the most popular podcaster in the world. One of them, he's got a great show. I heard, and one of them liked to pull up pictures on the line, and he'd say, "Hey, this guy? This guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he pulled up a picture one day of Gerald Strebendt. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know who that guy is." And they're like, "Oh, I bet you do." And they just like to dig at you sometimes. They really like to poke at people. And I try to hold my tongue.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
One day I walked by, and he said he has a new partner. He's, "Hey man, this is Torre, man. He's famous here. He's Joe Rogan's buddy." And I stopped. I turned around. I said, "Man, is this what this is going to be with us?" I go, "Man, it says CDCR, right? California Department of Corrections Rehabilitation. So that's how you rehabilitate, right? You pick on somebody old enough to be your dad." I go, "Look, let me give you a heads up." I said, "You think I'm famous? I'm not famous. I'm infamous. There's a difference. Somebody who's infamous is somebody who's in prison for a bad thing. Okay? That's infamous. I'm not famous. Look, I'm trying to just live my life and do my time. I'm just trying to just be in here. Now, I can tell you I'm not guilty, but you're never going to believe it because I'm in here. I'm convicted. In your mind, I'm guilty. That's fine. I don't care what you think about me." I go, "But let me give you a heads up. I'm twice your fucking size, man. I take shits bigger than you." I go, "You say you train? You want to see if you got your money's worth? I remember the days when you guys had a personal issue with somebody. You take off your badge and belt and you go in the gym and you get it up like men. But that's, of course, when CDC used to hire men." I go, "Look, man, I know who your cousin is. I know who your uncle is." I go, "They're good dudes. They don't have a problem with, they work here and they've never had a problem with." I go, "You should be careful how you talk to people. My mom died a few years ago. My kid died a few months ago. What if today was the day I decided I just didn't care if I lived or died?" I go, "Man, I could take it out on you. Are you threatening me?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not." He, "Well, you act like you're mad." I go, "Absolutely, I am not mad." Now, the old me, he would have been mad. The old me would have called you a pencil neck little bitch. And he, "What'd you say?" And I go, "No, that's not saying me. The old me would have said that. Yeah, I'm rehabilitated, man." I go, "That's the old me." I go, "But you're lucky I'm not the old me. And there's some guys around here that are crazy. They will fuck you up for doing stupid shit like this." I go, "Man, I'm just trying to do my time. Leave me be." That's one of the things that we get backlash from people talking about our cases out there. Some of these guys are absolute sadists. Not all of them. Most of them aren't. But there's a few that they get their jollies off pushing us and poking at us. It's like I've seen it happen a million times before. This guy's mad at me for even talking about this. In fact, he hit me up because he was mad about me talking about it. So now I am talking about it, and I let him be mad. I don't care.
Wow. Rafiel, and
Yeah.
to kind of, I'm not going to call it pushback, but just to kind of further the conversation, where I think that there's issues is when somebody works there, they think there's a connection or a camaraderie that there isn't. And the people in your situation that are literally there and are resigned to the fact that they might not be getting out, if they don't have something like a hobby or a fixation or a goal to kind of latch onto, it's one of the most dangerous human beings you can ever run into. And they're
I totally agree. We tell them that all the time. Like,
and a newer officer, I think, really kind of starts to understand that at about year 7 or 8.
yeah, it's sad because I don't have an issue with any of them. I never have. I try to look. My dad was a cop. a few years, and it's like I get it, you got a job fish, but at the same time, I'm picking on this, you know.
Yeah, I think you probably have officers there that you've dealt with for a long time that you could have those conversations with and really laugh about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this might not be one of those instances. And it's I try to explain it to people. It's different. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to work there, and it's not easy to live there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually one officer that I used to work for. I was a clerk for him, and he's a higher ranking officer. I mean, but that dude told me one time, he said, "Man, I wouldn't mind having you for a neighbor. And you're hard working in here. You don't do drugs. You pretty much stay to yourself, except for the magic thing, which they all liked. And we offered to do a staff show. We do a staff only show, Christmas show every year of magic. Me and a couple of the magic guys, and the guys that I've helped to learn magic over the years, and they're decent to us. They treat us decent, but at the same time, it's sometimes it gets rough here. It gets rough here. It's like, man.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of, there's good days and there's bad days, and when you wake up, that's when you figure out what kind of day you're about to have. That's not easy. It's not an easy way to live.
Yeah.
Especially in a dorm room setting.
This is the only dorm I've ever lived in. It's pretty horrible. I've always been in cell. Cell living's a lot easier for me. It's like you can get away from everybody.
Well, you can, and sometimes whenever somebody wants to exact revenge on somebody, and there's a big size or a difference in abilities, it's always when they're sleeping. It's always when they're sleeping in a dorm room setting.
Yeah.
Which isn't easy, man. How is the breakdown in regards to Aryan Brotherhood, the Latinos, blacks? How is that at your location?
That's really a non-issue here because now they have NDPF yards and non-designated programming facilities. They had SMY before and mainline. Well, I was on the mainline for years, and then NDPF now, because it's there's if you get to a lower level, all the level 2s in the entire state are NDPFs. That's where they don't have those issues. It's the upper level still that's that have the AB and the Mexican Mafia and the Nuestra Familia and the BGF and those guys. And it was crazy when I was over there. It was nuts. It was always people getting stabbed every other day and assaults on staff. And it was nuts. There was people getting killed all the time.
Yeah,
look online and just see how many guys get killed in prison every year in California.
Where I also think you were never affiliated with anything prior to going there. Am I correct?
No.
That's also a big problem when you don't have the affiliation going into a situation like that.
Well, it was crazy when I first came to prison. Everybody wanted to try to test me, and that ended up being bad, all bad. If when you're a lifer, they say, "Well, it's your turn. You got to stab this guy off the yard." I'm like, "I'm not stabbing anybody." They go, "Well, you know what's up." I said, "Okay, you know what's up." And I ended up going to the hole. They tried to get me for an attempted murder in prison. When they tried to send a guy to stab me, I beat the guy half to death. And it's like trying to defend myself. He tried to stab me. It's like I did 11 months in the ASU while they tried to get the DA to take up charge when the guy tried to stab me.
Yeah, it's not. It's also a slippery slope. Once you go down that road, you just keep doing it over and over.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You do it over and over and over again, and it's not good for you. It's not good for the staff. It's not good for the people that you're living there with.
Look, I told everybody from the gate, I'm not a murderer. I'm not going to start murdering anybody in here. Just because it's the AB and fuck those guys. I'm not a gang member. I never have been.
It's not an easy position to be in. Especially when you've got some notoriety. I can see that, and sometimes there's a maturity that comes along with working in the jail, And usually that takes about 5 years when you kind of understand the playing field as an officer, having done that myself.
Well, his cousin is actually one of the COs that's like, it's really cool.
But that's how it is. If you work in a jail, so does your family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty common.
You know the whole story about Dana Stubblefield, right? The football player?
I don't.
49er?
Okay,
well,
go ahead.
He was in prison. He was arrested. They said it was a rape. Well, he got his case overturned. He was on the yard with us.
Yeah.
Big old 49er. He just got out. They overturned his case and he got out.
Yeah,
and cheered for him. We were like super happy for him. And it's one of the nicest guys. But there was always a couple cops that like to talk shit to him. This guy's a giant, and it's like, but one of the softest spoken, super nice guy. He was the magic.
He was a top prospect coming out of high school. Went to college, caught a false accusation, and years later, she came forward and admitted she fabricated the.
And he was a Super Bowl champ, right there, and he was just a. But there was a couple cops who used to talk shit to him. And I remember one time walking up to him like, "Are you okay, Dana?" He goes, "Man, I get tired of this." I go, "Yeah, I know, bro. I know." He goes, "You're the only guy here that I do know that you know this." Because he knew the stuff about my case. And he goes, "I know you understand." I go, "Yeah, man, it's crazy."
Do you think it's a little ironic that you wrote an article or a segment called, Lessons in Humility, and you are where you're at right now?
The future, predicting the future, right? It's ironic. Yeah, I used to think that too. I was like, man, I'm sure learned your humility in here. Definitely. And I'm still got that little warrior gene in me too. That I don't like to talk. I don't like to take shit from people. Still, no matter who they are. A bully, the bully. Part of every bully life, a coward.
So there was an article written about you and doing magic in the prison. How involved are you in that community? Like, is there support behind it, or is it just something you kind of do for fun?
No, actually, Joshua J. Years ago, he wrote a column in Magic Magazine, and I really liked his column. And I've always done magic since I was young. I've always done it. Just never really got into it heavy. I did some out there on the streets, but when I came to prison, I just started, it's something to do here, and I started really getting into it. And I wrote him. I told my brother, "Hey, man," because his column said, "If you ever want to talk about magic, just email me." Well, we didn't have email back then. So I wrote a letter to my brother and said, "Would you email this to him?" 2 weeks later, I get a letter from him in the mail, and like a 4-page letter asking me, "Hey, I looked you up, and I think it's a fascinating case, and anything, so you're a magician, and let me help you out." And he sent me some books. He owns the largest magic company in the world too, and he's one of the top 10 magicians in the world. He's an amazing guy. Well, we struck up a friendship, and man, it's been since like over a decade now, and it's like back in 2016, he said, "I think you should write a book about being a magician in prison." I said, "I always wanted to write a book about magic." He goes, "No, there's thousands of those. Write a book about being a magician in prison." Because I told him stories about how we had to make our own props and everything. And sometimes
that's cool.
You have to make your own cards out of milk cartons. And I wrote a book, and it became one of his best-selling, magic books that year for his company. It's called Diary of a Prison Magician, and it really did well. In fact, I've had 4 cops, a couple lieutenants, and a couple sergeants buy the book and have me sign it here on the yard. And it says by anonymous, but everybody knew it was me because I talk about my sons, Nico and Brandon, and my brothers, and but just I didn't want to draw attention to my case and have people look at it before they actually read it. It said by anonymous. I think most people would read it because it's a fascinating title. People are fascinated with prison. Trust me, guys, it's not that fascinating. It sucks. But prison. They make TV shows and movies about it. It always cracks me up because once you're in prison, you realize in the movie they always portray it as 2 things: either everybody's innocent and the cops are all sadists and they're mean and just assholes, or it's the other way around and the inmates are all trying to kill each other and all violent, horrible people. It's actually somewhere right in the middle. I've met cops in here that were decent human beings, decent people. I mean, good guys just doing their job, And I've met inmates in here that they could have been a great guy their whole life, and then in a split second of rage, they did something terrible, and they end up in prison. It's just I've met the best of both worlds and the worst of both worlds. So it's like somewhere in the middle. It's not like the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man. Yeah, it's not a nice place. It's not a nice place, and the issue going into this interview, who I discussed with my podcast partner Joey Venti, was the prison really teaches you to shut down. It teaches you not to talk, not to expose your personal life, not to kind of even allow anybody in, and that's exactly the opposite of what we try to do in this interview. We kind of allow people into someone's life to understand, where they were at that point in life. And it's not, it can't be easy for you to recall. That's for sure.
No, I'll be honest with you, every time we get done talking, I kind of go to my pod area, and it's some things that make me feel good, but it's at the same time, it just reminds you how far you've fallen. Like you mentioned the magic thing. I think that's the only thing that's kept me sane in here. With the help of, I've met so many magicians after my book came out. They were writing me. They were writing Josh, telling me, "Hey, I want to write this guy." And I made really good friends in the magic world. And then me and Josh and I came up with this curriculum a few years ago about magic as rehabilitation. The New York Times did a story on us. The Prison Legal News did a story on us. Josh done a podcast, called How Magicians Think. And in this first one, he interviewed me for like 30 minutes on it. And so between Josh and me, we came up with this curriculum that basically helps guys in here. But when I'm at my worst, when I'm sad or I miss my family or something, I'll pick up a deck of cards and then I'll go out in the day room and I'll start practicing. And it's invariably everybody here knows I'm a magician. Not everybody knew I used to fight, but everybody in here knows I'm a magician. Everybody calls me, "Hey, that's the magic guy. That's the magic guy." And they'll come home.
That's cool.
In 10 minutes, I'll have 25 people surrounding my table and I'll be doing magic and everybody's laughing. You see black guys, white guys, Mexican guys who gang members from opposing gangs, hated each other on the streets, all laughing and joking. And instead, I'll have cops come up and they'll be watching. And it's just, they look at you differently. The cops look at you differently. Once you do magic for them, they look at you before as inmate B97939, Rafiel Torre, in for murder, first degree, doing life without responsibility parole. Once they see you do magic, it's like, "Oh my God, that's that guy that does magic. That's really cool." And I've had it happen so many times where they go, "Man, I never knew that about you." And I go, "You never asked." I've met so many guys in here that are so talented. I have a friend here that's a musician that worked with Smash Mouth out there, and he showed me pictures. The guy's a legit. He's a music teacher and everything, and he's in here. And then another guy. I've seen guys that have drawn photos. Taking a photograph, and they make a drawing with an ink pen. It's like museum quality. I had commissioned guys to draw paintings of draw pictures of my magician friends, and I sent them to them for their birthdays. It's just you meet a lot of talented people in here. Nobody ever gives anybody in here the chance to let that talent shine through.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I think the one thing that everybody needs to kind of take from this is, no matter what you did or how you got there, it's unfortunate that you're there, but you got to have a purpose. Like, if you don't have a purpose, it gets real dark real quick, man. And I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No, it's everybody that's doing a life sentence or a lot of years, they go to some pretty dark places with their kids. When it's at the worst, you go to some pretty dark places. I've known a lot of guys commit suicide in prison. I've met
or become insanely violent over very very small things, like menial things. Yeah.
I saw a guy get murdered over, and this is no joke. I saw a guy get killed over 2 top ramen soups on DR.
100%.
Back in like 2013. This guy said, "Hey man, let me get them soups." And he goes, "Man, I'll get them to you when I get them to you." He goes, "Man, I told you." You said, and finally, he said, "You know what? Screw you. You're burnt."
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have 60 seconds remaining.
Punched this old man. The old man fell, hit his head against concrete, died right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And now the kid got a murder. He was going home in a few months.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you letting me clarify that.
No, dude. I need you to keep in touch with me.
Hey man, you know what? If you ever want to do a series about guys in prison doing magic, man, I tell you, Josh said he would love to do an interview with you.
That would be.
You
You know what? I'll get you over the producer that's kind of working on something. He's like obsessed with that. So yeah, really good.
Well, we're about to cut off here, and I got
Absolute pleasure.
You want me to call back tomorrow?
You call back whenever you want, brother. I greatly appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir. Take care.
All right, we got some more to talk about, though, right?
I'll talk as long as you're willing. Absolutely. Take care.
Okay. All right,
Bye.
buddy. Hey, thanks, man.
Of course. Take care.
Well, that was episode 300. And I got to say, look, I looked it up on ChatGPT, and it's less than 1% of all podcasts make it to this milestone. So we are the elite.
That would constitute, well, we're here. There's got to be some mental illness on our end now, because we haven't stopped.
We were thriving on mental illness. It's the fuel. It's the jet fuel for this machine.
That's right.
Yours especially, but the rest of us got a dusting of it. We're on the spectrum. We're all on the spectrum.
100%. You know, man, I was like thinking last night, like, there's people that contact us on a regular basis in regards to like giving us show notes for like the future ideas and things of that nature. And the one thing that I would like to impart to our audience is that, like, when people say, "Oh, what, you're an MMA guy," I think what I'd like the response to be is, "I am a historian."
Yeah.
So, like, before this podcast even started, before you and I ever met, before episode 1 ever dropped, when people would talk to me, "Oh, so what? You're an MMA guy?" I would always say, "No, I'm a historian." And it's like I give like a serious look, because like, it's something very serious to me. And they'd always be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What do you think about Tito Ortiz?" Like, it was just so like,
in the general world, to call yourself a historian, you have to have an advanced degree in the specific topic you're speaking on. But on this topic, there are no such degrees. If we're not experts, who the hell is? Who should we appeal to? Josh Gross?
Oh my God, dude! Please.
I mean, well, pre-COVID nonsense. I'm just saying, he's been around a long time. Like, who would we appeal to?
Dude, Josh Gross's best moment is when Dana was like stating things about the thing that shut the world down,
right?
And Josh Gross starts yelling at him, "Are you a doctor? Are you a doctor?"
Yeah.
And you know, in like, Dana was nice, but he could have said, "Well, you know, I'm not a doctor and I don't make money in a medical field, but you've never even went to the gym one time and you make a living writing about fighting." Dude, we can't do this. We got.
I don't want to dunk on him all day. I actually like his book. The book he wrote about the Ali and Noki fight. I enjoyed it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Do we include this in the post 300?
Why not? It's up to you.
Okay. Little emotional for me at the end of this one. Two parts. One, the subject matter is really heavy. I think we can all agree on that.
Oh yeah.
And if you listened, to even set this interview up, it took over a year. Like, it was really, really hard to set this up. And I got my 3-year-old in the background over here. It was really hard to set it up. And then, like, some of the stumbling blocks in regards to here, we couldn't record the volume. I would screen grab it. No good. Like, the jail had like some sort of blocker on it. Like, it would work when I would play a YouTube video. It would work when I talked to you. It worked when I talked to everybody except him on video. So then we did video just to kind of go back and forth in regards to arcs. It's just kind of getting to know each other. That's the video that we're using for this.
Right.
But then also, like, I got an iPhone. When you push the call record button, the jail would pick it up and stop it. So after I kind of get this thing figured out, like, okay, I got to go through, like, it's $1 a week to get this like recording device, this app to go.
Right.
I got to 3-way call it, wait for it to get through its voice prompt with the "you are now being recorded."
Right.
And then it's just like, because if the jail like system heard that, it terminates the call.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I gotta accept a payphone, like a collect call. Then I got to get this other secondary device going, wait for it to time out, hoping that I can merge the calls back into the jail call without it hanging up on me. And here's the thing, like there's no expectation of privacy when it comes to a prison phone call. They tell you throughout the call, it's being recorded.
Of course.
So then why can't I record it?
The system's not built for us, it's the elites. They want to keep control. Yeah.
Them.
The Illuminati. So yes,
it's the Rothschild. It's the Rothschild phone system.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so the video doesn't match up with the audio quite well. It's that you're not having a stroke. It's not your Wi-Fi.
I'm not a beaten, spouse or so.
Right.
All right. So here's the thing. So in the interview, whenever Joey, you and I, we go through this every week. Yeah. Every week we go through this where we go, here's the sensitive topic right here. We got to
build up to it.
We got to build up to it. We got to go around it, and we got to ease it. Not like you see other interviewers where they hit you with a hard topic. They very rarely let you answer it. And then they keep hammering you and dunking on you and dunking on you and dunking on you. Well, that's not what we do. Like,
it's a pretty good example of that last week. Yeah.
With Jorge Rivera?
No. With Moneyberg and Ariel, just hammering him.
But he wouldn't let him answer questions.
Yeah.
He had a heart out. Okay. Well, then find another time to do it.
Right.
So like I obviously I respect Ariel, but like I'm not a hammer guy. I want to talk about it. I want to listen to you. And I want to hear, even if you're lying to me, I want to hear it come out of your mouth, and then we can discuss it in the comments, because we're historians. We're documenting history here. So the issue is that it's a 13-minute phone call that's interrupted several times. And then like when you kind of soft pad things in order to get into the question, it's either interrupted or he's got to call back again. So it's like the approach that you and I take, it's changed. Like when I want to ask about the Kumite, when I want to ask about his fight, when I want to ask about ADCC, I got to start with other things, get him conversational, and then ease into it. There's so many obstacles when you're dealing with the prison phone system. And also, he's been on lockdown for 3 days.
Yeah. You guys had a lot working against you on this one, but you weren't going to give it up. You were obsessed.
No. So he's locked down for 3 days. And dude, to his credit, he never took a penny for the interview. He never asked for any money about the interview.
He didn't ask for money on his books, nothing like that?
No,
really?
No.
Okay.
No. So he's got an aunt named Barbara, who's she is a character. I'm going to be honest here. At one point, I blocked her phone number. She was calling me a lot.
Really?
Yes. Now she doesn't call me enough. As odd as that sounds. So she's actually the conduit here that allowed this to happen. The only like financial exchange that took place between us is on the video calls. It's like $3 for 15 minutes. He used my funds that I put on the books.
Right.
But
right. So obviously he wasn't motivated by money.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's a good sign heading into an interview. And that hasn't always been the case when you and I are trying to line these.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not. And the one kind of takeaway that I had was when he said, "Well, this is the last one I'm doing. This is the last one I'm doing." And then you hear what he said instead of goodbye is, "We can talk tomorrow, right?"
Anytime. I'll talk to you. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
Yeah, he's lonely in there, obviously.
Dude, like in jail, all you do is like all your like here, when you make a phone call in jail, it's a payphone, you got to cover it with your with your hand, and then you got to dial the buttons. And the reason is because you'll have people sitting up on a balcony memorizing like how you dial, and they'll call those people and ask for three-way phone calls. This guy's a friend of mine, he's locked up, he needs you to call this person, he owes me money, this, that. Or what to do is because you have somebody to talk to, they'll call that number nonstop until they block the number, and now you have no one to talk to. It's some evil shit happening, dude. There's some evil shit happening inside that jail, and the system itself teaches you to shut down. Yeah, I worked in corrections, like I know this, and that video that you guys watched throughout it, essentially what it was is just real easy hello MMA questions, because he's so locked down internally, rather than getting 1 and 2 word answers, it's just kind of prying it open in order to kind of get him to the point of conversation. And dude, it's not easy to do when someone's been there 20 plus years.
Of course. Yeah. He's been holding his cards close to his chest.
Yeah.
Was he in general pop, or is he?
No, he's 100%. No, 100. Well, it's called a treatment facility, but it's a general pop jail.
Okay. For funding purposes, they call it treatment.
I probably. So he's also located in a dorm room. So, my God, the dorm room. So it's got to be one of the hardest places to sleep. Yeah. Because you're in a room with like 40, 50 people, sometimes even more than that. And when I was working at the Cook County Sheriff's Department at the jail, every once in a while, like when an older guy not really liking what one of the younger kind of buffed up guys does, they get them when they're sleeping in the dorm room. Like they crack them with like a mop handle with that metal. I've seen ears come off of people. I shouldn't say I've seen the after effects of people getting cracked like that. And it's not uncommon. Like it's a blessing and a curse. You get more things to do, but you're also the subject of your environment. Yeah.
You don't just have to trust that one guy is not going to kill you tonight. You got to trust 50. I supervised the dorm setting, but it was juvenile delinquents, a little bit different, but
it's actually more active. The juveniles are worse than the adults. Yeah.
They don't yet put together cause and effect. So they are a little less well-behaved.
Yeah. The consequence portion of your brain doesn't develop when you're born a drug addicted child.
That's true.
And I'm not saying everybody in jail has that issue, but it's a little bit more common there than anywhere else.
That's true. That is.
So you're also dealing with that. And you also got to remember, like, Gerald is in there for unaliving somebody. So he's in a dorm room setting with a whole bunch of other people. They're lifers. Bro, when somebody gets life in prison, they change. Like, they don't live the same way you and I live. Like, it's kind of like a stick of dynamite. It's like sometimes those things can go off without lighting them.
Right.
It's that same type of thing.
Yeah. Well, what I've always heard is once you're there for life, like this is your life, any smallest little disrespect or infraction is just amplified because this is my life. Whereas if I'm waiting to get out, I can endure some bullshit, because I'm going to get out one day. But no, this is your world. Dude, yeah, you didn't clean up your side of the cell. I mean, that's worthy of a beating.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, like, he's got magic.
Yeah.
And I can't explain to you how healthy that is. Like, it's probably kept him alive.
Yeah.
And you know what the crazy part is? Like, when I'm calling people, obviously California, your neck of the woods, when I talk to them about Rafiel, everybody dunks on him. Like, everybody wants to dunk on him. But like when I say, no, let's talk about before the arrest, they all kind of backpedal a little bit. He wasn't a bad guy to me. Well,
Right.
he did this. He helped me this way, helped me that way. You know, do I think he's a flawed human being? Yes.
And so does he. He freely admits that.
Do I think he lied on his resume? And I know a lot of people that have.
It is weird that he does magic now, because sleight of hand was a big part of his resume.
Yeah.
You know, I fought in the tournaments, but it was in the woods. I am a black belt, but it's.
Yeah. You know, do I? Here's the thing. You can discuss it in the comments.
Yeah.
Like the way you and I record, it's just, let's get the facts here. Here's some opposite presenting information from other people like Eddie Bravo.
Yeah.
You know, like.
It's what we do. We document history in their words.
Yeah.
Other people can jump out and put it in their words, and sometimes they conflict, but I want to hear the guy's story, because he was a big player, especially in California in like the early 2000s. And he was super well known, much more well known than me in that community.
I don't know why you inserted yourself there, but okay, Joey, I believe you.
I mean, I was just a guy in the crowd. He was a big deal. People knew who he was. They didn't know who the hell I was, except that I was the guy hanging out with Larry Landless and Herb. That's all.
Right. But no, dude, it was a little emotional, dude. I was at the, like, I had to record this because he's on lockdown. I had to record this whether I was in my car, I was at home, I was at the store. So I'd have my notes with me constantly. Where there was more than one occasion, I had to go, wait a minute, dude, just give me like 20 minutes. I'll be in my, I got pulled over on the highway.
Really?
For the fourth one. Yeah, yeah, he's calling me from jail.
Yeah. So you got pulled over for being on your phone?
No, I pulled over.
Oh, like, you pulled over. Okay.
Yeah, cars are flying by me and I'm going through my notes. I got the little light on. I got my pen out. So
yeah, it speaks to your level of mental illness. We love you. We're glad you do it. We're glad you're afflicted.
I think this is going to kind of open up a lot of people to our podcast too, that normally hadn't seen it. And I think the one thing that I hope that they do is they take a look at our back catalog, because dude, these are all little art pieces. Like, as good as this one was, we've got 299 other ones.
Yeah, we do.
That are just as good.
Yeah, and some of them with like Hall of Fame MMA fighters. You know, if this is what brings you to us, hey, great, but stick around a while. You'll like what you see.
Bust outs we've had criminals. We've had, you know, people absconding from the law, living in foreign countries.
That's true. Gerard Gardeau, he's hiding from somebody. Wherever he's at.
I mean, Pee Wee Herman or Dave Herman. There's another one. What do you mean? We had him. That wasn't an easy one to get.
I'm sure.
So it's 300, dude. Yeah, it was
interesting. It was interesting, and it seemed like a therapy session for him. Like, I think it was good for him.
So the thing is, we're probably, I should say, in theory, we haven't recorded it yet. We're going to have a roundtable with Chris Brennan, Gerald Strebendt, Eddy Millis. It's a lot of people, including you and I. So
all people that knew him well.
Very well. So we're going to have a little bit of a roundtable about him. And I want to focus on the highs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the fall is easy. It's been covered. But I really wanted to focus, like, before, you know, when we come up with our list of questions, before we hit the hard questions, it was kind of important to me to go, well, you were at Pride 10, you were at Pride 11, and when this happened and this happened. Like, you can't just go, well, I called myself a journalist and then I kind of got exposed and then I left. No, dude, this dude was legit.
Yeah, and he helped a lot of people when he was in that phase too. You know, like, guys were opening a jiu-jitsu gym. He would do a story about it and then show up to the grand opening and bring people. And, you know, when he was on top, he was good to people. It's unfortunate the way things unraveled, but, you know, there was a time where he was the man. And those are the words Eddy Millis used. He was the man back then.
It's going to be interesting, those three, especially those three haven't seen or talked to each other in years.
Yeah.
So I think that round table is going to be one of those, you know, don't miss things. we're doing like a kind of a little bit of a documentary series as well. Our next one is about the Gracie in Action series and the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu series. So Andy Campbell, who is our Instagram guy, our social media guy, he's been absolutely brilliant up until this time. He goes through, we have our timestamps. We've built what we refer to as a database, because that's what it is. It's an actual database. And he's already got the script for the Gracie in Action, the people that would agree with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu being what it is. And then we also have people that oppose it, like John Peretti being one of them.
Right.
Igor Zinoviev. Like we've got people from the other side that oppose it. I think Manny Gambarian might make an appearance, one of our quotes. And what we're doing is we're taking the quotes from each side and we're intermeshing them in our in our script for it.
Right.
So he called me up, and Andrew Mendoza, California Cat, goes over to your house for the UFCs. Yeah. He's been doing timestamps for us, and it's a burnout spot, dude. Doing timestamps, it's a burnout spot. It is not like if you and I had to do timestamps with these, we'd get 2 out a month.
Yeah. Or we get divorced.
That card is still on the table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that this? So, like in essence, Andy Campbell calls me up, and like you, I, and everybody listening, we're all historians here.
Yeah.
And he says to me, he's like, "Have you seen the stuff on the Gracies that you got?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't put it into the database and looked at like what came up." And he's like, "It's unparalleled and it's shocking." And he's like, "I cannot believe the information that we got to put into this video." He's like, it's like nothing that he's ever been able to get anywhere else on any other channel. It's all in one spot. And that's because of Andrew Mendoza.
Yes. Yeah. He's doing the heavy lifting. He's the unsung hero of the podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, look, Royce Gracie comes up in most of our interviews because we say, when were you exposed to the UFC? So he comes up a lot. We've probably got 200 different people's opinions on the Gracies and their contribution. So that's going to be valuable.
So what Andrew does is he timestamps when names, not just Gracie, anybody.
Yeah.
The names are timestamped, and boom, whenever we put it in. So it's like when you and I do our research, we just kind of put it in a database, see what comes out. And then when people like George Rivera, that just dropped last week, there was some hesitation on his end in regards to answering questions because it was like we knew too much.
Right.
That's the good and the bad about the database.
Yeah. Now he's also a good guy, and you could tell he didn't want to shit talk anybody.
No. I mean, we certainly gave him the opportunity to.
Yeah, we did.
But the database that we have is just it's unbelievable. There's going to be some changes coming up in this new year. One, we're going to have reads that you're going to have to do, Joey. Like, I'll get you the reads. It's going to be the Masters of Martial Arts. It's going to be the only ground. But two, I'm setting up not a studio, but like a recording area in my condo. And what that means is I'm going to be logged into YouTube on a hard line, like a computer.
Okay.
And these people that are lifting our stuff without giving us credit, I think I'm going to put a stop to it.
Yeah. You know what? This latest one, I don't even think they gave us credit. I don't even think they mentioned us by name, but
no,
I was featured in it and you were featured in it like 3 times more than me. That was bullshit.
The Josh Barnett one. So what I think is, if they come talk to us and ask, well, I don't give a shit.
Just credit us.
Well, what they do is they do the YouTube credit, which is like non-existent. Like that, to me, that's not enough.
Yeah.
You're not going to lift all of our stuff, put little videos to it. put a little AI voiceover, get a couple 100,000 views. You know,
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did all the heavy lifting for sure.
We're gonna share. We're gonna profit share on that.
Yeah,
we're gonna profit share.
It's only fair.
It's you know, and I understand these millennials.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand them, but their belief system is, well, you didn't think of it. I thought of it.
Yeah,
so
we did it.
I deserve like the credit, the what do you call it? The whatever social media douchebag take a bow. What the dude? I don't give a fuck about any of that. You know, like I couldn't give a shit about that. All of that stuff, it's coming to an end, and we're striking your channel.
Yeah,
we are 100% striking channels. Let me just get my setup. Let me get our plugs in. And dude, the plugs that we're going to be reading, I don't want any money from these guys. These are other historians.
Right.
You know, if money comes along at some point, okay. But these
would be nice.
We're $50 away from breaking even.
So what you mean is we're almost working for free. We're almost there to the point where we work for free.
We're $50 a month away from breaking even. And it's like, well, you need the exposure. I don't need a fucking thing.
But you're not giving me exposure if you don't say this is the MMA history podcast. Okay. If you just use our shit.
Joey, do you really give a shit about exposure? Really? Like, I mean, it's nice.
Would I like our subscriptions to go through the roof? Yeah, sure, I would.
But they're not doing that.
Yeah,
they're not doing that.
Well, hey, now that we're making our own documentaries, we're kind of competing with them head to head. So there's damages there. We're using our stuff. I don't want you using my stuff.
Huh. Yeah. Like I try not to be negative. It's 300, but like, yeah, the people that steal our shit, they're not even listening to this anyway. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're just kind of running what they want. AI? Yeah, they're just kind of grabbing and going. They're retail theft. And like when I've had conversations with these people, and they explain to me their value of stealing my stuff.
Right.
I listen and I go, okay. I go, let's just pretend you don't exist. Does it affect me from doing my weekly drops?
Yeah, no, clearly not.
Okay. Now, if I don't exist, does it affect you from doing this video?
100%.
Yeah, and they go, yeah, but I go, whoa. Conversation's over, my man. You just took an L. So I don't know. I don't get these people. We do need more editors, though. I think after this new Gracie film comes out, what I think is going to happen is we're going to do a social media post. We're going to kind of see what editors come to the table. And if we can do a documentary series every couple weeks, dude, we'll be at 100,000 subscribers within 6 months. Like, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Andy's great, but we need 3 of him. So
yeah, we need 3. Like,
if you're a fan and you got an idea to put a video together.
Well, I have ideas. We have ideas.
Yeah.
Here. Locker Room Respect series.
Yeah.
We'll start with Jeremy Horn. I'll give you the timestamps to go and pick from. Write a script around it. You know what I mean? Like you're the people kind of dropping knowledge about Jeremy Horn. It's gonna be Chael Sonnen. It's gonna be Pat Miletich. It's gonna be some like incredible names to where it appears that like they've sat down with an interview about Jeremy, and they did. Right here.
Yeah.
So
that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Here. We got Jim Miller coming up, pre-UFC Jim Miller. Brian McLaughlin will sit in on that one. We're going to have Art Davey coming up. We're going to concentrate on UFC 3.
It's a great one.
Dude, it's a great one.
Emmanuel Yarbo. They had a 618-pound competitor. That only happened once. That's a great show.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Chemo, Hoist.
Yep.
Dude. Harold Howard.
Yep.
Harold Howard. Hoist throws in the towel before the bell rings. He's stomping around, being angry. Harold goes back to the locker room where he finds out Ken Shamrock is so depressed about not fighting Royler Gracie, he's refusing to fight him. You've got number 1 baddest man in the world and number 2 baddest man in the world both pulling out against you in one night. I'm going to play the lottery.
Yeah.
I'm going to, if there's a chick that's, that I got my eye on, I'm shooting my shot. Like the
stars are lining up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's going to be a good one. I like Art. He's always fun.
And he doesn't do interviews. So, that's a good one. But with this one here, Rafiel Torre, I think this speaks about our street credibility.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I like to kind of put to it. Like if you're looking for hundreds of thousands of subscribers, we don't have that yet. Right. We don't. But what we do is we've got a large volume of people that have a lot of credibility within the sport that not only watch this, but they also help us. And that's where I believe this interview, how this came together.
Right. Also, you just didn't give up. You didn't take no for an answer.
Dude, and I tell you, do you know who our first interview was supposed to be ever?
No.
Heath Hackney.
And we're still chasing him. We're going to be chasing him till the day he dies, so he might as well just do it.
It's okay. What I usually do is when he refuses to return my text messages, I'll use my daughter's phone or my wife's phone, and I'll call because he's got a heating and air conditioning company.
Right.
I call for like an emergency. I don't do it often, but it's just like, hey, Keith. Yeah. Give me like a month. Yeah, you said that for like 3 years, dude. What are we doing?
So we're just going to have to agree to pay him an HVAC consulting fee. Just tell him, you got to get on Zoom. We have some HVAC questions, and then just fire away, starting with UFC 3.
Dude, so because Keith has been on the hook for so long, the notes I have on him in regards to pre-UFC and in coaching, he had a lot of guys that had a lot of potential that he was coaching. I've got notes on them where he was cornering them, bringing them along, paying for privates. Like the mental illness, Keith's got 4 fights, roughly 5, maybe
3 or 4. Oh no, he was in the Ultimate also.
Okay,
so he's 4 or 5.
He's got 4 or 5 fights, right? Yeah. We've got about 3 hours worth of Keith Hackney questions.
Well, dude, we made a movie about Harold Howard. He only had 4 fights.
I'm saying, and they're all legit, oh, that's a really interesting question. You cornered against Pat Miletich this night when your student fought him here, at Clash of Champions here in Chicago. I was not at that event, but it was kind of the beginning of my mental illness journey. Right. And oh yeah. Dude, we've got we probably got a part 1 and part 2 about Keith Hackney, and it's actually pretty. It's really interesting shit.
And his career was 11 months long.
So, Joey, episode 300. I was a little emotional after this. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I even called my wife.
I was emotional listening to it, and by the way, by the very end, I was there in spirit because I got brought up in the last phone call. I appreciate that.
Got to. So yeah, and I think what we also need to do, because you and I here, I think this comes out after I work for Ignite Fights in Minnesota. I think we need to start kind of plugging our personal appearances, because we do get them. They're not often, right, but we do get them. And I think it's kind of important to kind of give a little value back to the people that hire us for our time.
Yeah.
So I do play-by-play and I do post-fight questions for Ignite Fights on spectationsports.com. There you go. That's our pay-per-view provider. So
Yeah.
Joey, thank you, man. That's a good 300. That was a good 300. And 301? 301? I think 301 is, I mean, you got,
it's going to be good.
Oh, you got Brennan, Eddy Millis, Gerald Strebendt. They haven't talked in years, all in one, one sitting about the California. You and I are probably gonna have to come up with some push points in regards to like the early California scene, like Ryan Chenoweth's event, Neutral Grounds, Kaja's event, obviously, Cobra Fighting Federation. Those early events. What was it down in Mexico? Come on, what was the Tijuana event at the Baby Rock?
In the bull ring?
Yeah. Reno, Mexico. I got them all. So I think like we take a couple of those fights to kind of just conversational pushes, and then we go right back to Rafiel.
To our man of the hour. Hey, man, to the next 300.
Really?
And by the way, I'm not going anywhere.
No,
you're not going to find anything on my computer inappropriate. I'm sticking around.
Yeah. I would suggest you guys go listen to the end of Jorge Rivera to understand what Joey just said right there. And if you guys want to hear like some other crazy stuff, the end of Josh Neer, I thought that was a pretty good close as well. Yep. We kind of give a little peek behind the curtain of some of the wilder moments, of the independent grind.
Yep.
So Joey, love you, brother. Happy 300, man.
Happy 300.
We'll be back at 301. Take care.
We will.